Good morning students. Welcome to this class. Today we are going to study free fall. Last year also we have discussed something about it. Now in my hand there is ball. Suppose or in this hand I am holding a duster. What is happening? This ball is not falling down because what is the reason? My hand is applying pressure on it or force on it, I say. So it will not fall if I don't release this ball or duster. Otherwise, it will fall if I release the force which is given by my hand. So this force given by my hand is acting opposite to the direction of gravity. Up till now we have studied there is gravitational force on every object or force of gravity on every object on the earth. This ball is here because of the force applied by my hand, and it will not fall due to this force. This force is acting opposite to the gravitational force. In book example of stone is given. If I release this ball, the only force that is acting on this ball is what is the gravitational force. Suppose this, due to force of gravity, it is falling down. The force only acting on it is the gravitational force, and that we call it as the free fall. In free fall, that is, I have told you, this is initial velocity is 0, and when we release the force given by my hand, then the velocity increases. So initial velocity is 0, and that velocity is increasing as it is falling down, and that velocity is increasing due to the gravity of the acceleration due to gravity of the earth. Now when this is falling freely, this we call it as the free fall. When it is falling freely, the forces which are acting on it, the gravitational force is acting no doubt, but the frictional force given by the air, then buoyant force is also acting on the object, and it is freely falling towards the earth. Now the velocity of this object which is freely falling can be calculated, the velocity of the object and the time taken to fall on the earth, that is calculated by using Newton's equations. Newton's equations of motion last year we have studied. That is, first equation is V is equal to U plus AT, second is S is equal to UT plus half AT square, and third is V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. Now just now I have told you U is equal to 0. Initial velocity of the object is 0. So in all these equations U becomes 0. Then A is converted, or A is written as G because it is acceleration due to gravity, and then these equations of motion given by Newton, they will be turned or they will be written in this way. V is equal to GT, A is G and U is equal to 0. So first equation becomes V is equal to GT, S is equal to half GT square, second equation, and V square is equal to 2GS. So for calculating the motion of an object thrown upwards, acceleration is negative, that is in a direction opposite to the velocity, and is taken to be minus g. The magnitude of g is the same, but the velocity of the object decreases because of this negative acceleration. The moon and the artificial satellites are moving only under the influence of the gravitational field of the earth, and thus they are in a free fall. So free fall was first shown by Galileo in 1590 from the Tower of Pisa. He thrown two different spheres of different masses from the Tower of Pisa, and they fell down at the same time. But when we say that, suppose I have taken these two pages, same size pages, suppose same mass they are having, and I throw this paper and the ball made by another paper at the same time. you can observe this, which is falling first. See what is happening. The ball of paper falls first, but this paper which is free, that is not falling, or it falls afterwards. What is happening? The paper which is falling afterwards, that is acted upon by the frictional force of the air, then the buoyant force also, so it will fall later than that of the ball. But this experiment I have told you was done. Different masses of spheres he thrown from the tower of Pisa. Nowadays, scientists have proved that this free fall is possible only in the vacuum. In this air, or when air is there, it is not possible due to the frictional force of the air and due to also the buoyant force. And there is something difference in time to fall those objects on the earth. But it is now proved that scientists have performed the experiment to throw the stone, suppose, and the feather, you know, very light in weight, and they are falling at the same time on the surface of the earth when there is vacuum. This experiment is now proved that both the things fall down at the same time. So gravitational force on each object acts same, whatever the mass of the object is. Now next point is gravitational potential energy. We have studied last year what is potential energy. We have seen different equations, etc. Total energy remains constant. All these equations we have studied when we were studying about the law of conservation of energy. So potential energy means energy due to the position of the object or due to the state of the object, that is called the potential energy. So potential energy is equal to mgh when the object is at a height of h, centimeter, meter, kilometer, whatever, at a distance of h from the surface of the earth, then potential energy is equal to mgh. But when it is on the surface of the earth, when the object is on the surface of the earth, then h is equal to 0, and so potential energy becomes 0. So when h is compared to the radius of the earth, we can assume g to be constant and can use the formula potential energy is equal to mgh. But for large values of h, yesterday I have shown you one table, large values of h. Suppose the height of communication satellite 35,700 km, and then the value of g is equal to 0.225 meters per second square, and more than if the object is at a distance of infinity from the surface of the earth, then g will be taken as 0, and g is 0 means there is no gravitational force acting on the object. But when the value is h or less than h, when the value of g is h, then for smaller distances h, that is height, the potential energy is less than 0, and when we say that it is less than 0, then it is negative. The potential energy is negative when the value of h is less than 0. When an object is at a height of h from the surface, its potential energy is minus gmm, capital M, small m, divided by r plus h, where m is the mass of the earth, capital M, small m is the mass of the object, r is the radius of the object, and plus h means it is at a height of h, or it is at a distance of h from the surface of the earth. Now we have to study escape velocity. Just now we have studied the example of stone or ball. When I throw this ball upwards, then it will go upwards, but at a certain height its velocity is becoming 0 and it starts falling down. Means acceleration due to gravity, or gravitational force is acting on it and it is coming down. So we have played this ball so many times. Whatever velocity we apply here, that much height it will get up to. So if we apply more velocity or more increase its velocity, it will achieve more height, or it will go to the higher level. If we play in this way, the level which is obtained by this is less. When we apply more energy to it, then it will go at the higher heights. Now when I say it is going to the higher heights, that depends on whatever velocity we apply here. Maximum velocity, if we apply maximum velocity, it will get at a certain height. Its velocity becomes zero. Means its final velocity is becoming zero. And according to Newton's third law of motion, v square is equal to u square plus 2as. As its final velocity, I have told you, when it is attaining a certain height, its velocity is becoming zero and it is coming downwards. So its final velocity is zero. So v becomes zero in this case, and a is equal to minus g. We know that. So 0 is equal to, in this equation, 0 is equal to u square minus 2gs, because a is equal to minus g. And maximum height of the ball, that depends on whatever velocity we apply here, or whatever energy we apply here. So s is equal to minus u square upon 2g. And if we keep on increasing the initial velocity, then the ball will reach larger and larger heights above the surface of the earth. And when it attains that much height, or as it increases its height, etc., so that ball escapes from the pull of the gravitation. If it goes at the higher distance, or we can say at an infinite distance from the surface of the earth, it will escape from the gravitational pull and it will becoming stationary there, and it will not be attracted towards the earth's gravitation or towards the earth, or it will not fall down, and however it will not fall back on the earth. This velocity, whichever velocity we are applying here, so as to escape this ball from the gravitational pull, that velocity is called the escape velocity. So higher the initial velocity u, the larger is the height reached by the ball, and this velocity which escapes the ball from the gravitational pull, that is called the escape velocity. We can determine its value by using the law of conservation of energy. In this way, for an object of mass m, you can see on the surface of the earth and at infinite distance from the earth. So for calculating the total energy, we consider the kinetic energy as well as potential energy and the total of it. So for the object on the surface of the earth, kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. That v is here, v escape I have written, that is escape velocity. Potential energy that we have calculated just now, minus gmm upon r. And total energy, E1 is equal to kinetic energy, Ke is kinetic energy, Pe is potential energy. So half mv square escape, and v escape square, that is escape velocity, minus gmm upon r. And for an object of mass m at infinite distance from the earth, kinetic energy is 0. Then potential energy, that is minus gmm upon infinity. Anything upon infinity, that is also equal to 0. And so here total energy of the object is 0. From the principle of conservation of energy, total energy of the universe remains constant, or is constant. E1 is equal to E2. We can put down the values of E1 and E2. E2 is equal to 0, that just now we have calculated, and E1 is equal to half mv escape square minus gmm upon equal to 0. So minus gmm upon r, that becomes positive when it goes to the right hand side. So half mv square is equal to gmm upon r. So v escape is equal to gmm. 2 is in the division, it will go to multiplication and divided by m upon r. M is in the division, so m getting cancelled. V escape, v square escape is equal to 2gm upon r, that is remaining. So for this, if we divide and multiply by r here, so it will become 2gm upon r. As we know, g is equal to gm upon r square. So gm upon r square is equal to g in this way. I have written here. V escape is equal to, here it is square, so it is square root of 2gm upon r square. Here we have to multiply by r and divide by r. So r square it will become. So 2gm upon r square, total value is g. G is equal to our formula. G is equal to gm upon r square. So V escape is equal to square root of 2gr. Now g, value of g you know, 9.8. Value of r, that is the radius of the earth, 6 into 10 to the power 6.4 into 10 to the power 6. And putting down these values, we can calculate. It is becoming, V escape is equal to 11.2 kilometer per second. So the spacecrafts which are sent to the moon or other planets have to have their initial velocity larger than the escape velocity, so that they can overcome Earth's gravitational attraction and can travel to these objects. So in this way, we can calculate the escape velocity. Here, weightlessness in the space travelers as well as objects in the spacecraft appear to be floating. Why does this happen? Though the spacecraft is at a height from the surface of the Earth, the value of g there is not 0. In the space station, the value of g is only 11% less than its value on the surface of the Earth. Thus, the height of a spacecraft is not the reason for their weightlessness. Their weightlessness is caused by their being in the state of free fall. So, they are in the state of free fall. Though the spacecraft is not falling on the Earth because of its velocity along the orbit, the only force acting on it is the gravitational force of the Earth, and therefore it is in a free fall state. As the velocity of free fall does not depend on the properties of an object, the velocity of free fall is the same for the spacecraft, the travelers and the objects in the craft also. Thus, if a traveler releases an object from her hand, it will remain stationary with respect to her hand, will appear to be weightless. We'll stop here. We'll